It's all had. It's all
I don't have
done.
an extra, I just have this one. How come yours is different? No, it's gotta be scheduled. That's what we're talking about, stuff that has to be scheduled.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting
Previous
to order of
mistake.
the Villa Park Cable Commission. Tonight, Al Stash will be acting as our secretary
Yes.
with Marianne in absence. So if you could do the roll call, Al?
Okay, I'll have to make sure that I know of all the people who are not here. Sid Berg,
Here.
Dennis Keating,
Here.
Lou Ciancio,
Here?
Marianne Greco is not here. Gene Hockensmith, not here. John, not here. And sitting over here, Janet Mayer.
Here.
Did I miss anyone?
Alex Ash.
Al Stash is here, present. Also, our liaison to the board is not present tonight.
Deb Bowinkle is not here tonight. She could not make it. Okay, we have a quorum. Do we have enough people here tonight? So did everybody get a chance to read the minutes from the March 5th meeting?
Yes.
And would somebody like to motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they are.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved.
Up here, John.
The first item on our agenda tonight is commission openings. Currently, there officially, I guess, is not an opening as of yet. It still has not been approved by the
John.
the board to.
The commission meeting. This is the commission meeting. This is the commission meeting.
Come on up.
Up here.
Okay.
Has not been approved by the board to have the opening as of yet. So we're still waiting on the president to approve that opening. So I guess we'll have to table that until the next meeting.
Okay.
Previously taped programs. At this point, we'll talk about some stuff that's already been taped, and Al has a list of some things that are existing or in the works, and I think we should just talk about programming in general at this point, and an overview of everything. So,
Okay, I've got a couple of things that were submitted tonight, and some, because we have several different outlets, we have not only the cable channels that you're watching, channel 6 and 99, but also VPNet TV for internet through live stream. There is also a YouTube channel, and we also post stuff on Facebook. So some of you may have already seen some of this programming, and I'll just briefly list them. Victory at Sea, number 24, is a new episode that was just submitted tonight, should be showing later this week. The Chamber of Commerce Dinner and Recognition Dinner, which was held on February 26th at Villanova Restaurant, we went out there and videotaped that, and that is a 15-minute program that's on YouTube now. It's on the Facebook page, and it was submitted for a channel network. Other programs that are yet to be scheduled, we have some classic TV programs. We also have a NASA weekly program, and those will be scheduled as appropriate. There are many other additional programs that have been taped already that are in edits, and I'll just quickly read these. Mike's Meat Market Profile, Circa Antiques Profile, Motivate Skate Shop, Rampart Lion, there are 2 programs there. Jim's Pet World, Pioneer Garden. There is a whole series, Officer in Blue. My partner here, Sid Berg, helped with that at the last Cable Commission, or at the last Citizens Police Academy. There is Redshift, episodes 5 through 10. We just submitted episode 4 last week. A new magic show, Finding Home, about post-traumatic stress disorder in our military, is being started tomorrow. And Slice of Villa Park, the lovely Janet Mayer host. There are 2 episodes that are still eligible to be broadcast that are in edits. Oktoberfest, the talent shows, carnival, and entertainment is also a possibility for future programming. And that's the list that I have.
Okay. While we're talking about that, let's quick hit some of our regular stuff. The news about towns. Dennis, is there anything scheduled for coming
Not
up?
for this month yet. I have it for
Nothing
Monday.
scheduled, okay. And then also Tom's Corner. Sid, are you guys doing a,
Oh, we won't do that tonight, but we will do it next week, I'm sure.
okay, all right.
When the board meets, Tom wants the night off.
Okay, okay. Okay, and then the Adopt a Park PSAs. Why don't we talk about that real quick, too, at this point?
Okay, I wanted to just let you know a couple of things that have happened. I created, after talking to the members here, and almost all of you volunteered to help with that, which is great, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And some people beyond our group have said they'd like to participate, so that's wonderful. Also, the public is more than welcome to be a part of this. But we have public service announcements for the Adopt a Park program that I've created scripts for and sent them to Marlon Hummel, who is our director of parks and all those other things he does. And they're being reviewed, and also Greg Gola is going to review them to make sure that they're appropriate for their program, that they meet the requirements. There are little short public service announcements that will be used in the midst of our other programming or just played out on the network as scheduled. So they'll be submitted to the rest of the board members. We'll put them in the notes as something you can review.
Al, I have something to add. I
Sure.
have a friend, another woman, and I'd like to add her to my list. When I am in front of the camera, she'd like to do it with me as a partner.
Great.
Her name is Vicky, and then it's Breyer, B-R-I-E-R.
B-R-I-E-R?
Yes.
From Villa Park, do you
She's
have
from
contact
Villa Park.
information? You'll send that to me?
Yes, I will.
Offline? Okay, great, thank you. That's awesome.
All right, kind of related to programming, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't know how many people on the board have been able to, or the commission rather, have been able to view the live streaming that Al and Pat finally got it up and running, and it's been airing now for about a month, I think.
Yes. Yes.
And it's wonderful. It is wonderful. So thanks for doing that. What it gave me an opportunity to do, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I've kind of been trying to keep it up at work in the corner, playing on my computer just to kind of watch what's going on. It gives an idea of how the feel of the schedule and that. And Al and I kind of emailed back and forth a little bit as part of another email about, and we've mentioned this before, there's a lot of still bulletin board on there,
Yeah.
which, you know, we're also repeating a lot of the programming we have quite a bit too as well. So one thing I was trying to research this past week, and I just want to throw it out there, is that there is an organization called PEG Media, and we are a PEG station officially. So what they do is they actually create an exchange program from other PEG stations across the country, programming that they develop, and they hope that programming that we develop would get contributed to them as well. And most of it's distributed free of charge. It's all downloadable.
Awesome.
There are quite a bit of series shows. So what I would just kind of want to throw out there is, in an effort to try to fill up some more space until we get more local programming, which Al works hard on trying to get that going, but he's kind of a one-man show here lately, so he's limited on how much he can get done. And as a commission, we try to get some stuff done too, but it's just hard to fill up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a lot of space to fill up. So I kind of wanted to propose to see what you guys think about maybe getting a small subgroup together to review some of these programs and see if any of them might seem appropriate for the channel. Just to give you an idea, I just printed out a couple of options here. There's one that's Girls Talk TV. It's basically, let me give you a little quick.
Is that
things-
Oprah?
No.
Okay.
No. These are all locally produced programs. So, this one features things about living and eating healthy, women in music. It's basically a talk and entertainment show. It's made for a national audience. It's produced in Virginia. They create a new episode approximately every 14 days. There's about 20 or so already in the can that are available that they try to make it timeless, so you could air it almost any time of the year. There's another one that's a talk show, which there's about 30 episodes. They do one approximately every week. It's out of Oregon. It's national audience, and it's basically a talk show, kind of a. They base it on the old Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, so it's an audience and a talk to entertainers, and they actually have some nationally known people that they get on the show once in a while. There's a fishing show. There's about a dozen episodes of that, Fishing with Dan Kenny. And another health show, it's with a doctor who has interviews different health organizations and people, topics like healthy eating, physical activities, diabetes, nutrition, blood pressure, different topics like that. There's a science fiction journal show, which they talk about science fiction shows, books, magazines. And there's a guy who does woodworking in his garage who produces a show. So that's just I just randomly picked, a few just to give you guys an idea of what some of the content was.
So we would look these over and then pick shows to put on? Is that what we would do?
If you guys, I think we need to fill up some space, and it would be nice to put some more stuff, even if it's temporarily, to draw more viewers in. Whether one show catches them and then they end up watching the local show after it, hopefully, that type of thing. But I think we also, like if we picked one of these shows, I think it would be good for somebody to review a couple of them, be sure that we think that it's appropriate for our station. It makes sense, the quality's good
Right.
enough to.
One of the things that I'd be interested in, I'm not familiar with that, is the format that it's provided in. If it's on a DVD and we go back to a DVD approach, then we've got some concerns.
No, these are all downloadable.
Downloadable MPEG 2s?
MPEGs. It does not. You have to become a member to, but it does say MPEGs.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I'm totally into it.
Yeah, it doesn't say specifically MPEG what version of it, but
And I wouldn't mind being one of the people that are looking at the programs to see if they're suitable for the station.
so if that's something you think, I'm kind of throwing it out there. If you guys think that's something we want to pursue, I think it's a good free option. We're doing a few free programs now. I don't know how popular they are. I know a couple people follow one or two of them. I don't
Right. Do they have samples that we can share on our website to allow our viewers to look at?
We should be able to. Once you sign up for this, then you can download any of the programs. So we could
So
do
yes.
that. Sure.
I think it's a great idea. Because you're right, the bulletin board is a useful tool, but it's on 23 hours a day.
Right.
I'm exaggerating, but it is.
It's on a lot.
But
And
then
I think some of the program, I think we're still having some issues with our own schedule. Some of the programs aren't really showing up at the times they're supposed to, and I think that would be fairly easy remedy to that. But also some programs have fallen a little bit of the wayside where we don't have a lot of episodes of them. So I think as opposed to repeating the same episode for 2 months, they've been
Be
kind of
replaced.
eliminated for a while
Yeah.
until we get more episodes.
Okay.
But I saw Victory at Sea a lot.
Yeah, and that's in the 24th. This is a brand new episode now, so you'll see something different. But you're right. The fact that they have so many in the can, ready to go,
Right.
that don't need a lot of care and feeding, then that's awesome.
And I think it's just a matter of reviewing a couple randomly to determine whether that series is something we want to do. Because if we look at, say the Conversation with Dr. Don, which is a medical show, if you look at two of those, you can determine, it's fairly good content, it's well done, whatever. I think we'd be fine.
Even Wayne's World would have been good.
That would have been. So that's kind of my programming 2 cents.
To add more 2 cents, there are a whole series of things that I've been working on with Pat new programs that are just kind of being bulked into the system, waiting for a time slot, that are old-time TV shows that are pretty much a vessel for public service announcements.
Right.
Something people will watch, we hope, that we interject where the commercials were public service announcements from the community or from appropriate sources. So those will be added to this, and I think this would be great. I would love to see a point in time where we've got 6, 7, 8 hours of programming a day.
Yeah.
And I think we can do it, especially with things like this.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there was 10 pages of programs. Now, some of them are onesies, onesie-twosies, where it's a documentary or something like that. But, I mean, this was just 6 random series that, and most of them, it's not something where, I mean, some of these have been going since the late 90s, so it's nothing new. It's been out there for a while, so it's tested in time.
Awesome.
So. All right. Anything about programming or the outlets? We've kind of talked about those 2 things. We can move on to equipment
Okay.
issues, upgrades.
Well, the first item there is cross-training directors and technicians. Is that where we're at?
Upgrade plan. I think.
Oh, the equipment upgrade, okay.
I think that was just dealing with the issue of last time we talked about the board meetings are being recorded on 4 separate decks, and we had 2 of them break down. Excuse me. I did submit a request to Manager Keener asking for advice and possibly some financial help on either getting some more decks or a duplicator. The duplicator option is much cheaper than the deck option, actually, and it actually would probably function quicker and better. But I know that he was on vacation, so I'm sure he has had a chance to even.
Lou, you're talking about a duplicator. Is that duplicating, is that recording something right now for us as we're making the show?
Actually be like at the end of the board meeting, because one of our things is right now we supply 1 DVD goes to the village for archiving the meeting. One's supposed to go to the library. One has been going for the local newspapers to use to write articles about, and they pay for the recording media on that. They supply us with that. And then the 4th one is used for digitizing to go on the website or any place else.
Well, we've had several requests. I've had several requests for when we've interviewed people, could they get the show? Could they get it?
And a duplicator would make it easier to do that. Because after the fact, with the duplicator, we would just take the one master DVD, put it in the duplicator, and it could make 4 copies within a fairly short time.
Or more if we
Or more
get a
if-
different machine, right.
Depending on which machine we would get.
Then we had to come up once before people requested copies and said, no, watch the program and just record it yourself.
Right. Now, I don't know, I previously in another life I managed a public access station, and when we did interviews with people, we did supply them with copies, but for a small fee. And I don't know if that's something we'd be allowed to do or not, or if that crosses the wrong bridge or whatever, but we may need to address something as opposed to us supplying. They might have to supply the media for sure if we're going to do copies, because we really don't have a budget to.
Well, it's certainly something that should be looked at, because anytime with the equipment we have, some of it is, of course, new, but there's a lot of old stuff that needs replacing. And we've got to look out for us citizens, us taxpayers, too.
Right. So at this point, I think we kind of need to wait for Rich, the manager, to get back to us and see, because he said the proposal was to see did the village have some money somewhere that they could help us out with this, because our budget is ending this year is almost gone, and next year's is very small. It's not. Mm-hmm. There's no equipment built into that budget really. It's basically just operating costs, and in an emergency, we'd have to use that for something that broke down, hopefully. So,
Well, I submitted to you and to Patrick a device that would do this duplicator device. And I strongly recommend that because it is about a quarter of the cost of trying to maintain 4 recording devices. And logistically, it's adding maybe 10 minutes to the workload at most. With all of the other options, like Sid and John talked about, the ability to make copies for interviews that Dennis does or that Janet does on the fly, and just say, here's your copy. If we charge them for the media or the convenience, I'm sure nobody will complain. But it really helps us get out of a situation where a year from now we'll be right back to where we were.
right.
3 more devices go bad, and we've got no other solution other than buying 4 more.
All right. Well, this might be a good time before we jump into the next thing. Maybe we should touch base. Do we know how much weren't sure how much we have left in our budget? It's almost gone, I know.
It's almost gone. I can't tell you how much, but it's almost gone.
Because we did have those purchases that we just recently did to upgrade some stuff.
Yeah, it's but of course, our budget is over, or our year is over, the 30th of this month.
Right,
So we're starting a new year and a new budget.
right. Okay.
And hopefully we should get a report, or we should find out exactly what we need and prioritize everything and get them.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Well, luckily we had some money left over where we were able to remedy some problems that we had as far as with equipment and upgrade a couple things that were broken. And those are all in place, the monitors and some of the other equipment, so that's a plus. Cross-training. We had talked in the past about the need to have some more people trained on the basically all the equipment in case of emergency or for whatever other reason we might need some help. I don't know where we're at with that. I don't know that anything's happened with that at this point.
Well, one thing that this leads into also is we're here tonight kind of as the pilot for commission and board meetings. We have, 8 or 9 commissions in the village. If you add them all up, there's about 9 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and all of them are invited at some point to do what we're doing tonight, which is to bring to the public on our channel their meetings. And just today, I went through the Open Meetings Act training and realized that if we were to try to get any other commission to say, come in on Monday instead of your Wednesday,
Can't do it.
you really can't do that. They have to put a publication in the newspaper and go through all kinds of gyrations to change their schedule. So we have Pat McAndrews, who does an excellent job with the board meetings and our meeting tonight, but he can't be here every night of the week or 9 times in addition to the times he's here. So if we get the training and can work in the control room with other people to do this, I think it's an excellent addition to our channel and the service that the commissions will do. So there's my 2 cents about this training. That to me is the biggest thing we have to do, is to get more of the open meetings out on our channel.
Right. Yes, and this was kind of a test run here tonight
And it's going well.
to see how things go. I don't know.
We're
it's
still
nice.
on.
Everybody's pretty quiet tonight. I'm doing a lot more
still
talking
on.
than I have.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman Lou, and to all you lovely people, if you've stayed watching us this long, sometimes the meetings do get interesting. And we don't have fisticuffs, at least not yet. But,
Not like the English, huh?
but there is, we get different ideas and different thoughts on just about almost everything that concerns the Cable Commission. And it's always been, so far, productive. and that's enough for me
Okay.
Okay,
for a few seconds.
yeah, you'll chime in again. And you should.
A couple of these issues are things that, the security issues and things like that we should probably talk about off the air. I do have a small update on that, so we can do that. And then, is there any new business that we want to address? Oh, you know what? I want to mention one other thing before we do new business. Everybody should check to see if their term on the commission is coming to an end, because you do need to renew it. I got Janet's letter here, and she sent it to Tom, the president, for renewal on the commission. So I don't know if anybody else is up for renewal. I know I was last year, so I'm okay, and I think Al was last year.
From last year, too.
I don't think so yet. I think I got a couple years left.
Okay.
You were just last year as well.
Yeah, so I think I got 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year
This-
term, I
for
believe,
3 years,
isn't
I
it?
think it is 3 years, yeah.
So I've been around for 3 years.
Fine.
And it went just like that.
It did, it flew.
Okay,
We'll double check, and then I'll check with the people who aren't here and be sure they don't need to be renewed.
Okay.
And then the other thing was the training. Al took his training. I don't know if anybody else had a chance to take their training. It's for the Open Meetings Act online training. We all do need to take that. So if everybody could be sure to do that between now and next meeting, we should probably have it done.
And as I was mentioning to you before, it takes about an hour online, multiple choice questions, which is great. But it's just, after you read a module online, it asks you 3 questions and one's right. You get the right answer, you move on. It takes about an hour. And then in the end, they allow you to print this certificate, which has to be on file, and I'm giving you mine tonight.
Okay. Very good. And we will get that to the proper people. Any new business?
A week ago, we did an interview with the chief of police, and it came off pretty good. And I had one comment from somebody that thought it was a great idea. Questions from the audience. They both had questions from the audience, and
Yes.
they worked right in, real good. I think we should do more of that kind of stuff, and not just do with the interviews. But I think we should have we can use a cell phone if people want to call into us on one night
Oh, yeah.
and talk to us.
That would be good.
And ask questions, and we can't put the cell phone on the air, but we can repeat the questions.
Right.
And I think
I have a propensity for raising my hand at the wrong time, but I enjoy that, and I will even give my cell phone number out for.
yeah, well, I
At
mean,
the
if we
next
do it on
time,
the air
next
here,
meeting.
yeah, put it on the air. But I think a talk show, Sid's been pushing it for years about the two of us just talking and have people call us and ask questions. We were worried about the questions we may get, and I think we just got to feel them as they come in. Don't worry about the problems. And you're talking about other shows on other places. I think a talk show would be great up here. It doesn't have to be on Monday night if we can do some other night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
We will. The VFW is planning on the 4th of July parade, and I'm sure that we will be doing it again. Unfortunately, Al, I'm one of the co-chairmen on that parade, so I'm going to be doing double duty. And I want a big hot water pan of hot water to soak my feet in when we're all through.
And probably all of the green M&Ms pull out of the candy dish before given to you, right?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll take
I'm
the
in
green.
for the 4th of July again.
We
Put me down.
did that last year, and this year it's going to be a little bit different because not only are we covering the parade on the scene like you and Sid did last year, but we're also doing it live. We're going to be broadcasting it live.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that'll be fun.
We're ready for that.
Is there going to be a 7-second delay?
No.
Okay, folks, if we get a chance to talk to you, watch your language and make sure that I don't that I watch mine.
We're okay. We're okay. We're on public access. They can't cancel us, so we're okay.
Okay, Wayne.
That's all right. You know where that came from.
Okay. Any other business we want to address tonight?
Just a couple small things. The public service announcements that we get, some of them we create locally, and we're going to be running more and more of those, especially now during the tornado season. Fire department did a great public service announcement regarding that, a couple of them. But the Ad Council has several more that we're just starting to get in to our stations about dropouts in school, pet adoption and from shelters, saving energy, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, food safety, and veteran support. So you're going to be seeing more and more of those. And as we said before, we've got some outside help. One of the members in the audience sitting here today, the member of our audience today, is going to be helping with public service announcements for the Park District for the Adoptive Park Program. So those are coming and very quickly.
And just to add on that, too,
Oh, hey, there he is. You gotcha.
Got 'em.
to add on to that, too, and this kind of goes back to the filling the space, right? The less bulletin board things. I had talked to Pat recently, and as part of the schedule itself, there will be some blocks at times. When there's a shorter program on, the idea would be to fill in the remaining time to the half hour on the hour with all PSAs.
So something doesn't start at 12:02.
Right, so programming would start on the hour or the half hour. If it's a 20-minute program, you have 10 minutes where we could put some of these local PSAs on things, fill those 10 minutes instead of bulletin board, and go into the next programming, or bulletin board if that's scheduled for that next hour. So actually the schedule will have the bulletin board scheduled for specific times, and PSAs will have certain places where they can fit in.
Good.
Maybe we can even customize the PSAs to fit the preceding or following programming. So if it's an educational show, maybe
Yeah,
PSAs
to group
relate
them into that.
education.
Yeah,
So that's something we'd have to work on,
absolutely.
but that'll give an opportunity for more of these PSAs, especially the local ones, which are really nice to have. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, the next meeting is scheduled for May 7th at 6 p.m. That's a Monday night. We meet the first Monday of every month at 6 p.m. Unless it's a holiday, and then we meet the following Monday. So if anybody cares to join, it is an open meeting. People are welcome to sit in, or if we continue to do this on air, we hope that we build a following, a cult audience following.
No charge.
Well, they could be watching anywhere in the world right now, so we
That's
won't
right.
know for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And don't forget, all your businesses in Villa Park, you're more than welcome to come up and talk to us. Come up and tell us all about your business. We appreciate any business who want to talk to us. We want you to come tell us all about it. If you have a grand opening or something special coming up, call us a month ahead of time so we can set something up for you. We want to talk to the businesses in town. We work through the chamber and everything else,
right. And Dennis hosts a program called News About Town, and that's a good opportunity for some people to get in and talk about what's going on around town. So, and then others too. Others are involved too. So.
And if you want to talk to me and put forth some personal gripes, now not too much about the village, because you can always do that to people who can do something, that is, at the village board meeting. But if you want to say, just invent something that you might not like. For instance, one of my pet peeves is the robocalls that came from all the politicians. In fact, I would say naughty words to the telephone, and of course the robot didn't hear them, but and all the signs, especially the signs. In fact, I wanted to call our state's attorney Bob Berlin about putting his people put signs on public ways, and that's against the law. And Pat O'Shea, who's running for judge, who made the Republican side, I think, had again signs on public ways. And how can a guy be a judge? Or how can a guy enforce the law if they're breaking it?
Claim this was the feelings of the.
But that's the type of thing. That's the type of thing I'd like to talk about with you. You know, something along that line. and I'm done.
Is now a good time to play that disclaimer again?
Yeah, disclaimer, this is not the feelings of all of the cable commissioners.
It was very interesting that the ex-trustee that just talked, put signs up when he ran for office.
But not good now.
Well, on that note, I'd like to end our broadcast, and then we do need to talk about one more issue, and that's security, but I don't think it's something that should be broadcast. So if we could wrap things up, I want to thank everybody. And
But that still will be discussed in open meeting.
yes, it still is available as an open meeting, and we do have people here, but
Not in the picture box.
yeah.
Do you want a motion to adjourn?
No.
So moved.
Are we gonna
Okay.
adjourn?
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Let's adjourn.
Let's adjourn.
Okay.
Second, yay.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're officially adjourned. Thank you, everybody.